Okay, so you've been around some new build sites, you've seen the show homes, they all look amazing, but should you actually buy one? Let's find out. Hey everyone, my name is Adam. I'm an expert mortgage broker, and today we're talking all things new build. So new build houses, new build flats. Now if you like today's video, find it useful, please do give us a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd be really grateful. It really helps us know what content you like so we can keep creating more. So let's think about new builds then. New build houses, new build flats, there's loads of choice. There's different developers, different places, different developments, some big, some small, 1-bed flats, 2-bed flats, up to 4 or 5 bedroom houses, big executive homes, you name it, there's a new build house to suit. However, is it right for you? Well, I want to talk to you about some of the differences between buying a new build house and buying a second-hand property. So let's think about the buying experience then. So what we're going to do, we're going to go and see the site, we're going to go and look at the show home. There's normally a few different show homes you can go and have a look around. There might not be a show home of the type of plot that you want to buy. So sometimes you have to just sort of trust that it's going to be okay. Some builders will have sort of other sites maybe close by that you might be able to go and have a look at the one that you're looking at, but not always. So when we bought our house, we bought a new build house a few years ago, and there wasn't a show home. There was a nearly finished one which we managed to go and have a little look around just for a minute, so we could get an idea of the size and the space and things, but there wasn't a show home available. So that's a factor. You might not be able to see the actual house that you're going to end up living in, but the show homes are always tempting, aren't they? They're always decorated really nicely. They've always got the upgraded kitchens and the really nice things, the nice tiles, they're painted and decorated really well. The furniture always fits in well. And that's no mistake, they do it like that to hook you in and so that you can see yourselves living there. So that's why they do that. So just beware that you will want to move in, but you don't get one quite like that. You have to make yours look like that from scratch, which is absolutely fine for most of us. So we don't expect to move into the show home. Sometimes you will actually be able to buy the show home. When the builder gets to the end of the development and they've only got a couple left, you might actually be able to buy the show home. So that's another thing to consider as well. So we've decided which property we want, we know which plot we want, let's buy it. So we're going to do what we call a reservation. So we're going to reserve that plot. Now, that normally comes with a reservation fee, normally about £500. Not all new builds will have a reservation fee, but most will have about £500 fee. Now that comes off your deposit. So that's the first part of your deposit that you're paying. So it's not an extra fee, it's part of the deposit. Then when it comes to actually negotiating the price of the property, generally the price is just the price. So with a new build, they don't like to give money off the price of the property. What they like to do is make you buy it for the price that they say. But most new build companies will give you some incentives. So they'll give you things like paying your stamp duty. That's a big one. So a lot of new build companies will pay your stamp duty. They might pay your solicitor's fees. Just be careful though, because they'll specify which solicitors you need to use, but they may well pay your solicitor's fees. They may well give you things like upgraded kitchens, upgraded appliances, extra wardrobes, upgraded carpets and things here and there. So there's lots of fixtures and fittings that you can usually get as part of the upgrade package. So builders tend to throw things like that at you rather than give you a discount on the actual price of the property. But one of the biggest appeals for a new build is that you get to design the inside. So you get to pick out the tiles and the carpets and the paint and things. Different developers have different levels of spec that you can choose. We got to choose a few interior colours and things that they put in for us, and carpet colours and tiles and all that sort of thing. So that's the really exciting part of buying a new build property, because it's all done and it's all nice. So when you move in, it's all ready for you. You haven't got to go in and start taking the old stuff out to then put your new stuff in. That can take some time and can be quite disturbing when you move into a property to have to do that. Some people want to do that, so if that's you, then new build is not the way to go. So let's think about the cost then. So we've already said we might have a reservation fee when you choose your plot. So that's the first cost you're going to have. The next is your deposit. Now your deposit will depend on how you're buying this property. You might be buying a new build property with Help to Buy. Now I have done a Help to Buy video specifically about Help to Buy and all the things that are involved, so I'll put a link to that in the description. Go and check that out. All things Help to Buy covered in there. So with Help to Buy, you can buy a new build house with as little as 5% deposit. If you're not using Help to Buy, you normally need a little bit more deposit. There's the odd lender that might do 10%. A lot of lenders have a minimum of 15% deposit when you buy a new build property. So that's one thing to consider. If you haven't got that, you might have to do Help to Buy for now. And then if you go and watch the other video, you'll know about how you can pay that off in the future. Some other costs you might have at the start of the process if you want to pay for any upgrades yourself. So, you know, we put in some extra sockets and some extra lights and things, had a couple of wardrobes put in. So that was extra cost. We had a fireplace as well. So that was extra cost that we had to pay at the start of the process. So speaking about the process then, it's a little bit different when you buy a new build to what it is when you buy a second-hand property. We start with that reservation. So when you reserve, you pay a few pounds to reserve that property. That plot is yours, and you have a certain time limit to follow through on that and to be ready to buy it. So you normally have 28 days to exchange contracts. And when you exchange contracts, that means everything's legally bound. Then you need to buy the property, they need to sell it to you. You've got 28 days. So to hit that, we need to make sure you're ready before you go and reserve a property. So we need to make sure you have your agreement in principle, we know where your deposit's coming from, you know, your credit check is okay, you've got your ID ready, you've got your proof of income and bank statements and all that sort of stuff ready to go, because if we want to hit a 28-day exchange, we need to work fairly fast on the mortgage. The mortgage though doesn't tend to be a problem with a 28-day exchange. It's usually the legal process that can take a little bit longer. So we need to make sure we've got good solicitors and that they get started straight away. So within that 28 days, we're going to do your mortgage application, we're going to do a valuation of the property, well the lender is going to do a valuation on the property. They won't normally be able to see your property, but they'll go and visit the site normally. And then we're going to get a mortgage offer within that 28 days, and then your solicitors will know that your money's good to go, the legal side of things is all good to go, so then you can exchange contracts. And then when you exchange contracts, what you've got to do then is just wait. Normally it can take ages. So if you're buying a property that isn't built yet, it can take ages for it to be finished. It can take months. Now, there's something we need to be careful of here. If we're taking a mortgage, most mortgage offers tend to last about 6 months. So if your new property isn't due to be ready within that 6-month time frame, we're going to have to either get an extension on your offer, or with some lenders we may have to reapply. So if things have changed in your financial situation, or you think things might change in your situation, you know, extra dependents, change of job, going self-employed is a big one. You know, you can't do that and then reapply for a mortgage, because you won't get one. You need to be self-employed for a bit longer before you can get a mortgage. Not too long, just a couple of years. But if there's any changes like that due, then buying a new build that isn't going to be ready for 9 months, 12 months, maybe isn't the best solution for you. So we're going to wait until it's ready. Sometimes you'll buy a new build that's actually ready to go there and then, and you can move in after 28 days, and that's cool. But a lot of the time you're buying off plan, as it were, and so it's not going to be ready for quite a long time. So if things are going to change, may not be the best solution. We need to think about that carefully. Sometimes though we can just get an extension. You always get a predicted completion date from your builder when you reserve. But in my experience, you need to add a couple of months onto that, because they're always behind, they always run behind. So if they think it'll be ready in 6 months, it's probably going to be 7 or 8. Now, one of the big questions that comes up all the time with new builds is, can I use my own mortgage broker? Well, let me tell you, yes, you can. So it is it's against the law for any estate agent, any builder, anyone to say you must use our mortgage broker. We will not sell you the property if you don't use our mortgage broker. They cannot do that. They can incentivize you to, they can say they would like you to, but you do not have to use their mortgage broker because, and this is nothing against call centre type operations, you are free to choose whoever you want to use. However, when you buy a new build, you are normally going to be dealing with a high flow call centre type operation, and if your mortgage is just nice and easy peasy, that is probably not a problem at all, and that is absolutely fine. If you're a little bit outside of the normal, you know, if your income is a bit more complicated or your situation's a bit more complicated, then you might need a little bit more of a bespoke service, and you'll only get that from a more bespoke advisor. So you do not have to use their mortgage advisor. They would like you to because they get paid to do that, but you don't have to. Okay, so we've been through the process, we've reserved, we've done the application, we've got our mortgage offer, we've exchanged in 28 days, wind on the clock a few months, we're moving in, then it's the same as any other normal process. The money all changes hands, you move in, you get the keys, exciting, and then you've got an important job to do in the first few weeks of being there. You'll get a date of when you need to report any issues to the builder. This is called snagging, and you might have heard of snagging before. You know, if you've got friends and things that have bought new builds, there's always something wrong. There was with ours, there is with every new build property, there's always something wrong, and it might be, well, so for example, we had a few scratched window panes, we had some chips on some tiles and little bits of paint missing and things. We actually were very, very lucky. We didn't have anything major really to worry about, and it was all fixed fairly easily. You see all sorts of horror stories online, don't you? Your bricks missing and insulation missing and all sorts of worrying things. But on the whole, normally, most things are fine, but there's always going to be a few little issues that you need to pick up and report to the builder, and that's called your snagging. So that's an important job to do by the deadline, because if it goes beyond the deadline, it's much harder to get them to just do it. All new build properties will have a warranty, so it's like a car warranty. They'll be covered if things go wrong for a certain amount of time. It's normally 10 years. So within that 10 years, if there's any major structural defects and things, then it's covered. For the first 2 years, most builders will normally help you out with, you know, sort of more major problems as well. That's, you know, if it's their fault. General wear and tear and things, though, that's not covered. And then after that time has elapsed, then you're kind of on your own. So it's really important to make sure that you identify any issues as soon as you possibly can. So that is buying a new build property. If you think that is for you, or you want to know what your options are when it comes to new build or second-hand properties, you can get in touch with us. Obviously speak to any mortgage broker as well, but we'd love to help you. We'd love you to come and talk to us. You can book an appointment on the link in the description. There's also a link to our website as well. I'll put a link to the video about Help to Buy in there as well. So any questions, get in touch with us anytime, drop us a comment, send us a message, and I'll see you on the next video.